If you're feeling unappreciated in your marriage right now, like you are doing so much and he never seems to notice, there's one very specific conversation you need to start having with your husband. And most women don't realize this until it's too late. And this isn't just my opinion or some theory. After watching this exact approach transform not only my relationship, but the relationships of my clients, plus having the Gottman Institute research to back this up, I can tell you this works even when nothing else does. Women who start having this one conversation, they start feeling more seen, more connected, and finally start getting the appreciation they've been craving. And the ones who don't start having this conversation, they are way more likely to end up feeling stuck like roommates or bickering or having arguments. I am Lindsay. This is Loving with Intention. Let's dive in because I'm sure this conversation is not the kind of conversation that you're thinking about. It's not a we need to talk conversation, thank goodness. And it is not asking him to change or asking him to appreciate you more. The most powerful thing that you can do is something different than that. And before we get into that, I want to acknowledge you're the one here watching this video, which means that you're motivated to change, you're motivated to grow in your relationship. You have probably been looking at all sorts of relationship tips, watching other videos. I see you. I so see you. And I know that it is not easy to be the only person who is trying in a relationship. That's exactly where I used to be. And I know that hearing that you should start having a conversation or doing something to work on things can feel like, ugh, another thing that I have to do. I just want him to step up. I have so been there. And it's like, imagine you were both sitting in a rowboat and you're the only one rowing. It can feel completely exhausting and impossible to make any progress. You're putting in all this effort, rowing as hard as you can, doing life and trying to grow in your relationship and make things better. And your partner's just sitting there. And sometimes it feels like he's even facing the wrong direction in the boat. So what I found is most women just try to keep rowing harder, which obviously leads to feeling completely frustrated and even angry. Instead, what if you learn to work with the current, to row in the current, and then you actually started to see progress without doing a bunch more work? When you know exactly where to focus your energy, that's when things start to pick up speed. So that is how we want to look at having these conversations with your husband. It might feel completely backwards at first when I tell you this. In fact, when I discovered this approach, I thought there's no way this is going to work when I'm the one who's feeling unappreciated. And I had resistance too. But here's what I've seen happen over and over. Women who get super intentional with these conversations, they tell me things like, I can't believe he actually noticed what I did today. Or he's been saying thank you way more. And even for real, for the first time in years, I feel appreciated for the things that I'm doing. This is so incredible. Those are direct quotes from women that I work with. We all deserve to feel that way. So the conversation, it is leaning into giving your husband a lot of appreciation. I just imagine like a whole bunch of women just like clicking out of the video like, nope, not happening. I am here to be appreciated. I am not leaning into appreciating him. And just wait, please just wait, hear me out, because it changes so much. You have probably tried pointing out that he doesn't appreciate you or that you don't feel seen or that you'd love it if he did more. So this is the perfect time to check in with yourself and ask, did that change things? And if it didn't, it is also the perfect time to try something different. And this is actually good news because it's not like you have to have a big conversation or start doing more. Choosing to pour in appreciation is like choosing to row with the current that is just going to make things easier for you. This is what creates change. And I talked about the Gottman Institute. They literally say the antidote to contempt in relationships is a culture of appreciation and respect. This is how massive this is. Contempt is one of the #1 relationship killers. And without appreciation, this is where a lot of people end up. So that is why this is so important. You are still here, so you are amazing. We are going to dig into this in a way that is going to end up having you feeling so appreciated and feeling so good in your relationship. In most relationships, things become really routine. The things that maybe you really appreciated when you first got together, those things are just like the everyday things that happen now. Or we just don't point them out anymore. We just don't say, I appreciate you for this, or thank you for this, or point out the good things because, we get into these routines. And when things are really challenging, it can feel super hard to point out the good. A huge, huge, huge common worry that I hear and that I definitely felt is if I tell him that I appreciate what whatever it is in the day, some random thing. Maybe I appreciate that he unloaded the dishwasher, or I appreciate that he made dinner. I appreciate that he grabbed me water when I was thirsty and I was really busy and I didn't want to get up. These little things, these appreciations are super important. And the worry is if I appreciate those things, he's going to think everything else is okay. So maybe we had an argument earlier and he said some things that were unkind and I feel really hurt by those things. My thought process is, well, if I go and tell him that I appreciate this thing he just did, he's going to think I forgive him. It's okay to talk to me like that. And that's what keeps us stuck, because the truth is both things can exist. You can feel hurt by things that your partner said or did, or how the whole vibe in your relationship is lately. And you can appreciate things that you're doing. Those two things, they don't cancel each other out. They can exist together. So this is where we get to lean into appreciation. And the truth is, when you lean into appreciation and you start to get those good vibes flowing with appreciation, it becomes way easier to have this conversation, the one where you felt hurt about something, or you've been feeling really disconnected, or you've been feeling unappreciated. Because if your husband is feeling appreciated, he is way more likely to hear your hurt feelings. And you're way more likely to have a productive conversation, a safe conversation, when there's some good vibes. Versus if he's not feeling appreciated at all and you bring up his hurt feelings, he's very likely to just hear, this is another thing that I don't do well. So appreciation is so important for that. And just imagine that you are the one getting appreciated, that he starts just appreciating you, thanking you for things, pointing out things in the day that you're doing well, or that make his life better, or that feel so good for him. Imagine how you would feel. You would feel so good hearing those things. You would feel so seen. And that would very likely lead into you appreciating him more. And if we just flip that, this is the part that you get to do, because he's not here watching this video. So when you lean into appreciating him, you get to get those good vibes going. Upward spiral of goodness, creating this environment where things feel so much better. And our brain has a handy dandy filter in it called the reticular activating system. It is one of my favorite parts of the brain. I don't know all of the parts of the brain, but this is a really good one. So the RAS, the reticular activating system, is the filter in your brain that filters out what's important to you, because you can't possibly take in the billions of things coming at you all day. So it only wants to show you the things that are really important to you. What usually happens in our relationships is we are focusing on what's not working. So we're thinking about how hurt we feel about XYZ. We are thinking about, oh, I wish my partner would do this or step up more. We are thinking about the things that aren't going well, of course, because we want to feel so good and we want to feel so connected and so loved. And when we think about those things, we are literally telling our brain, this is what's important to me. Show me more of these things. So instead, when we start appreciating our partner, we start telling our brain, I'm looking for things to appreciate. So your brain's like, okay, I will go to work for you. I will show you the things to appreciate. And I always use the example because everyone knows it. When you get a new car, you start to see that same car all over the road and you're like, oh my gosh, we all got the same car at the same time. But the reality is those cars were always there. It's just your brain going, oh, this car that we see in the driveway every day that you research so much, that you went and you bought, that's important to us. So now I'm going to show you all of these cars because I know it's important to us. We want to tell our brain, appreciating my partner, my husband, my boyfriend, that's important to me, so that it starts to look for those things. They start to jump out at you. And that feels so much better than focusing on what's not working. Again, it does not erase those hard things. It just actually creates an environment where you can talk about those hard things. I tried for so long to get my partner to give me more appreciation or words of affirmation. I would, use healthy strategies like asking him. I would use unhealthy strategies like slamming things around really loud, or, choosing to clean at a time when I knew that he was like sitting so he would see me and he would sense my frustration and then start appreciating me. That wasn't the result. That's not what happened. It actually just got us like more tense and we had more arguments because I was clearly trying to make him feel bad. So instead of doing those things, we get to go first. And again, I know that can be so hard when you are the only one trying, and often we're trying the wrong things. I tried so many wrong things, so many wrong things in my relationship. And I literally would have said to you, I'm the only one trying. I'm trying everything. There's nothing else I can do. We did end up breaking up because it felt hopeless. And then when we got back together, that was when I learned that there was so much that I could have been doing that I wasn't doing. And this is one of those things. This is definitely one of those things. And when you start appreciating, if your husband acts weird about it, or, he doesn't say thank you, or he doesn't start appreciating you back right away, that's totally normal. Because if saying thank you or saying I appreciate XYZ is not something that's happening in your relationship and it's something new, then your husband is going to sense that. His nervous system is going to sense that. They're like, oh, this is different. This is weird. What's going on? Like, is this a trap? Is this a trick? And he might not be consciously thinking those thoughts, but our nervous systems are always looking to keep us safe. So they're looking for threats. And even something positive can feel like a threat just because it feels different than the norm. So don't panic if he doesn't respond in the perfect way or in a way that feels good. Just know that this takes consistency. This takes consistency, and we want to do this without expectation. So, I want to say, hey, I really appreciate you getting gas on the way home because now I don't have to do it in the morning. Thank you so much for doing that. If I just say that without expectation, amazing. I'm just like dropping love bombs in our relationship. Again, does not erase the hard, just starts to create an environment that, keeps us away from contempt. This is so, so, so important. So consistency with this is key. Even like doing it for a week, if you see no change, that doesn't mean that it's not quote unquote working or that things aren't going to get better. You're creating a new pattern. I recommend setting an alarm. You just set an alarm that goes off in the day. Text husband an appreciation, or just like appreciation, some code word that you have for yourself. And you just think of something. And the more that you think of things, because often, I'll have clients and they can't think of anything. And we sit there, and the more that you just sit and ask your brain, find me things to appreciate, it finds those things. And they can seem really silly and small. But just imagine if your husband said, hey, I really appreciate you cleaning out the bathroom sink this morning. It looks disgusting. That seems like a small thing, but it'd be really nice to hear those words. So we get to start finding things to appreciate. And if you have kids, it is incredible for them to hear you appreciating your husband often. And then when he starts doing it back too. And you can get them into this too. You can start appreciating them often, and they'll just start to get used to like, this is the vibe in our house, which is incredible and feels so safe and so beautiful. So how to actually start doing this? Again, ask your brain, what is something that I can appreciate? I recommend after this video, shooting your husband a text, or if he's with you, saying the appreciation to him, just looking for something. I appreciate XYZ or thank you for XYZ. Start looking for those things. And if you really want to level this up like my clients do, you can comment super below and I will share with you my super powered appreciation. This specific kind of appreciation, it brings in your feelings, the impact of what your partner did, and it increases the good vibes much quicker than I appreciate XYZ. And it only takes 20 seconds. So you can totally superpower this. Comment super below. This changes so much in your relationship. I so believe in you. And again, just imagine that it's your husband watching this video right now, which I know would be so great. And he started appreciating you often. He started doing the things that I am saying. It would feel so good. It would absolutely change the vibe. This is you choosing to row with the current. We don't want to work harder. We want to work smarter. You are amazing. The video on the screen here is a recent video, a deep dive that I did into the 4 things that I did after we broke up and got back together that led to us having a thriving relationship. Even when he wasn't on board with relationship growth, I was diving into these things. So you can absolutely make those changes along with this super powered appreciation. Comment super below. I have so got you, and I'm sending so much love into your day. Remember, nothing changes if nothing changes. So starting to appreciate is you creating change. Let's have a super intentional week.